Baywatch. This is not appropriate to be looking at in class. Smelly cat Google search. Joey's really interested in soap operas, I guess. Oh, it's an 18-page note outline, front and back. I'm going to walk you through the Aristotle K-12 classroom management and tell me if some of these students maybe seem familiar to you. I can come up here to start session. I'll just say I want to start a 30-minute session. All of my students will be pulled in. You can see we've got 6 students in our class right now. Let's look at what's going on with those students. Regina's looking at some sort of smelly cat Google search, and then also looks like Regina's looking up guitar lessons on Reddit. I can see Ross is looking at dinosaur Google searches, and then he's on this Jurassic Wiki fandom page. He's really into dinosaurs. I can see what Joey's looking at. Joey's really interested in soap operas, I guess. Wants to become an actor, it looks like. If I need to, I can chat with Joey and say, "Stay on task, please," and send that. I can always chat with students. Students can always chat with me. Students can never chat with other students, though. Oh, let's see what Monica's looking at. Oh, it looks like Monica is watching an Ina Garten Barefoot Contessa video on cooking, and that she's got a bunch of different online organizers that she's looking at. Good to know. Now, there's a bunch of different ways we can look at our students in our class right now. I can look at them right now in like list mode. I can go to grid mode and maybe arrange them exactly how they might be according to the seating chart, which is really great because then I can separate them when I look down and I look up, they're in the same spots. And then we've got what's called canvas mode. I like to call it problem child mode though. Maybe we know Chandler has a harder time staying on task than the other students in the class, so we can make those screens really small, but if Chandler's got something going on, I want to know about it right away. When I get out of lock mode, I can see, oh yeah, Chandler's actually looking at Baywatch search results on Google. Let's go back into our student view where I can click in on them. First of all, Baywatch. This is not appropriate to be looking at in class. I want Chandler to be able to use Google search when he comes back to class. So what I'm going to do is say temporary ban, meaning that Chandler will no longer be allowed to use Google search during this classroom. And then also, Chandler's got this Beginner's Guide to Casino Gambling article open. Now, we are in history class right now. Maybe if this was a statistics class, it would make sense, but it's not. So I'm going to block Chandler from this How to Gamble and Casinos site, but instead of saying temporary, I never want him to come back to this site in my history class. I'd like him to stay on task. And Chandler's been blocked from being able to go to that site ever again while he's in this history class. All right, let's go back to list mode just because I prefer that one. And let's say you want to send your students to a website. I'm just going to send them to Edpuzzle right now. I click send. Now, we can see what's on every one of those students' screens. They all get populated. They've all been sent to Edpuzzle. Now, here's the big question. If the students know that the teacher can see what's on their screens when the teacher is at their computer, as soon as the teacher walks away and goes and answers the phone or talks to another teacher, does something that isn't related to their computer and the kids can see it, well, what do they all do? They switch away and go do something else because they think the teacher can't see what's going on. And then when the teacher's walking back, they all switch back. Now the thing about the Aristotle K-12 system, it's built so that you don't have to be eyes on screen the whole time. You can come back and see a history of everything that's happened since the last time you were by your computer. And you can say, oh, I can see that you're getting out of the things that you're supposed to be doing as soon as I walk away. You guys, I can see this. If you keep doing that, we're going to apply an outline. And the outline's going to get really restrictive about how we use our internet in the class. If you want to keep this privilege, you need to stay on task and not jump around. We can come over to the tabs tab. I can see every tab that's open in the class. I can close them if I want. So like those things that Monica was looking at about organizing, I just don't need her to be loading into those right now. So I can close those for her. Or let's say, I'm done with my kids using Edpuzzle. Maybe it's noisy and I just want to close out all of the instances of Edpuzzle in my class right now. I can click down and see every instance of it, and then I can close all those tabs from the tab here. From the tab. And then I don't know what Rachel's working on. What is this? Oh, it's an 18-page note outline, front and back. I don't know if like Love Notes are in Google Docs now. That's way different from when I was a kid. Either way, if you want to make sure like Joey and Monica and Ross are all following the same rules during a test, when we go into test mode, we can make sure that they're in a lockdown browser. If they're in this kiosk mode, they're not going to be able to get out of anything. Or we can apply full browser, but then still say, here's a really restrictive outline that you're only going to be able to use during this test. Maybe it's the end of class and I say, hey everyone, Ross just found this really great site related to our history discussion. Ross, tell the class why this is such a good site, what you liked about it for our history discussion today. We can click any of the buttons in this tab and open anything that's on one kid's computer and another. We'll do it again, maybe like it's the end of class, we want, hey everyone, Joey just found this really cool educational game. Joey, why don't you go ahead and explain the rules for this Bamboozle game that you were looking at. The last thing we'll do, we'll just come over here and say, maybe you've got students who, like their parents, just don't believe that they could be misbehaving in class. So what's great is teachers can run a report and they can say, Chandler's been having trouble using his device in class. They can run that report, and when parent-teacher conferences come around, they can just take this PDF and give it right to the parents and say, hey, I need your help keeping Chandler on task. It's okay that he's looking up dogs and dinosaurs, but how to blow smoke rings, Baywatch, and dirty jokes should not be such big pieces of the pie, especially on a school device. Can you guys help me out with that? And we can export that PDF, give it to the parents and parent-teacher conferences without having to call the digital person and run a report on everything Chandler's done, the whole year.